Hey there, Jerry here again, and I hope that you were able to set your goal for this 4-week challenge. If you haven't done that yet, make sure you go back and review the introductory video and get your goal set for this 4 weeks so you have something to move you toward that end goal of changing the relationship that you have with stress. Today, we're going to talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness is a trendy topic that's been brought up a lot over the last couple of years. So I want to get some clarification in, and I also want to give you some strategies that you can utilize to incorporate some mindfulness into your life. Mindfulness is not the ability to be able to sustain this intense, complete focus on each and every moment and appreciating each and every moment for what it is, and being able to eliminate all distraction in your life at all times. And if you don't do any of that, then you're not being in a mindful state and you're not being in the moment. So, with that being said, what is mindfulness after all? Mindfulness is the ability to be in the present moment. It is the ability to not think and worry about the future and not think and worry about the past. It is the ability to be in the present moment. However, you're not a failure if you don't stay in the present moment all the time. So, being mindful is important because it allows you to appreciate the situation for what it is. It allows you to be more productive in what you're trying to accomplish, and it allows you to not worry about the future and not think about the past and keep yourself here where it is today. When you think about the future and you think about what's coming up, that's when you start to get really anxious and you start to get anxiety and start to get stressed about what you have to do moving forward. And if you start to think about things that happened in the past, it's the same thing. The thing about the past is you can't change anything about it. So you have to be able to let that go. And about the future, the only thing that you can change about the future is what you do here in this moment. So if you incorporate mindfulness and you do it on a regular basis, then eventually you'll be able to get to the point where you're appreciating the moments for what it is. You're being more productive with your time because you're focusing on the project that's in front of you, or the people that's in front of you, or the relationship that you're trying to build, instead of worrying about the future or the past. So, what are some strategies that you can start to utilize to incorporate mindfulness into your life so you can stop thinking about the future and stop stressing about the past and just be in the moment? The first one that you can do is to pay attention to the transitions in your life. An easy way to understand a transition is to think about whenever you go from work to home and how you feel and how you interact with your family or whoever it is that is at home whenever you go from work to home. Do you let work be at work, or whenever you get home, do you bring work with you? And I don't mean physically bring work with you, I mean emotionally bring work with you. If you've had a bad day at work, when you get home, is that still hanging on to you? Is it still with you? And when you get there, are you taking it out on your spouse or on your kids? Or are you just being a little more inward and maybe not taking it out on them per se, but just not being the lovable person that you know you could be if you didn't hang on to those things? So that's a big example of a transition. So that is paying attention to transitions. Think about all those little small transitions that you go through on a regular basis and how you can enhance that by just dropping whatever it is that you're walking away from and being in the moment of whatever you're walking towards. The second strategy that you can use to improve your mindfulness is called mindful awareness. Mindful awareness. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Just sit there and think and really pay attention to this person over here, or that car in front of you, or the trees around you, or the clouds, or the sky, or the shop that you just drove by that you've never noticed before. That is mindful awareness. It is being in the moment, in those moments whenever you could be distracted by something else, such as your phone or such as someone cutting you off, and just appreciating the moment for what it is. Which brings us to number 3, the third strategy that you can utilize, and that is to think stress enhancing thoughts. Like I talked about in the beginning of the introductory video, You want to be able to shift your mindset on stress. And the mindsets that we typically have is either that stress is harmful or stress is enhancing. And research has shown that if you have a stress enhancing mindset, then you're going to get much more out of stress than if you have a stress is harmful mindset. As a matter of fact, you will have debilitating issues with your body if you have stress is harmful mindset versus a stress enhancing mindset. Now, this isn't an all or nothing proposition. We all have a little bit of both of this in us, but you can have a stress enhancing mindset and you can start to build towards that if you start to think positive things about stress versus negative things. For instance, if you have a stress is harmful mindset, you might think things like stress is harmful to me, stress gets me sick if I have too much of it, stress is debilitating to me. Whereas if you have a stress is enhancing mindset, then you might think stress is empowering for me. Stress makes me stronger whenever I go through it. And stress helps move me toward my goal because I know if I'm not overcoming these obstacles, then I'm not going to get there anyway. So now that we've gone over the 3 strategies for being mindful, the last question is on your sheet. What is your action? What is the thing that you're going to do to move you forward? This is the important part. One of the most important parts of this process is creating an action at the end of each week that you're going to do for the next week, for the next 7 days, to continue to get mindfulness into your life, to continue to have less stress in your life. So down there at the bottom of your sheet, what's your plan of action? What is the thing that you're going to do? We just talked about 3 things that you could do. Pick one of them and decide to do it every day. And once you've decided to do it, make sure that you get your sheet out. You wrote your challenge, your goal challenge for last week. And now you want to put underneath increasing mindfulness, what is the strategy that you're going to do? Right there. Number 1, what is the strategy that you're going to do? And that is your process goal for mindfulness. On your calendar sheet, you want to make sure to track this every day. Track it every day. You see mindfulness practice there every day. So if you don't do your mindfulness practice, you get an X. If you do your mindfulness practice, you circle it, you get a circle. And then at the end of the week, review how you did for yourself, and write down what you could do different in order to make that habit better and make that habit easier for you to incorporate next week. Okay, so that is mindfulness. Next week, we'll talk about meditation. Make sure you get those practices in. And until next time, I'll see you then.